This podcast is a member of the Place to Be Nation family. Visit us at placetobenation.com, the only place to be in your pop culture world.
Just a good-looking man, and any barmaid can be a star maid if she dances with or without and hooray for her.
Place to Nation Pop Experience. Welcome to today's edition of the movie review of the day. I am Andy Atherton, back here with you, reviewing another current movie that just dropped in theaters this past weekend. I'm talking about the latest directorial effort by the great Steven Spielberg, Disclosure Day. It dropped this past Friday. It's doing very well this weekend. Good word of mouth. The log line for this movie is, if you found out we weren't alone, if someone showed you, proved it to you, would that frighten you? And it is starring Emily Blunt, Josh O'Connor, Colin Firth, Eve Hewson, Colman Domingo, Wyatt Russell, Henry Lloyd Hughes, Elizabeth Marvel, Hettienne Park, and a bunch of other very talented people. So I saw this movie the day after it came out on Saturday of this past weekend, and I'm very mixed on it. Let me also mention that the non-spoiler section is going to be very little here to say, because in order to really talk about this film, we need to go into spoiler territory. So I'm just going to give you some general thoughts. You know, look, Spielberg, my favorite director, a lot of people's favorite directors. I recently did E.T. He has somewhat of a fascination with alien life, extraterrestrial. I've heard that he believes that there is life out there. You know, it's not that I believe or I don't believe. It's just we have this vast universe, and to me, it kind of is odd that our planet might be the only one with intelligent life. That's all I'm going to say about that. But I also went into this movie not knowing really much about what was going on. And obviously, we all kind of figured out it was going to be aliens. I did read they kept the third act of the movie out of marketing, press screen. They didn't want it spoiled to see how it came out. It was one of those movies too. Like, I walked out like still processing it and trying to really decide if I enjoyed the movie or not. I could tell you there's not a ton of set pieces, which is weird for a Spielberg movie. Usually there's a lot of set pieces. I'll talk about those in the spoiler section. It was riveting. It kept your attention. It was a good 2+ hours. As I joke around, like, my girlfriend and I both, we're 53 and, we tend to have to pee. So neither of us got up, held it for the whole time. So it kept our attention. The only thing that took me out when I went to see it was the guy next to me was laughing a lot during this movie. And it's not a funny movie. There are some moments of levity, some comedic situations, we'll say. On the whole, it's not a comedy though. I mean, I almost want to turn. I'm like, what the hell are you laughing at? What is so funny to you? But I didn't want to engage in all that kind of stuff. But look, here's the thing. It's a summer movie. It's a popcorn movie for the most part. It does make you think a bit. Emily Blunt, really great performance. Josh O'Connor, I don't know much about him. He did very well. Colman Domingo, who's been killing it lately, he is really good in it. Colin Firth, I mean, it took me a moment to recognize him. He's really good in this. He is kind of like the Energizer Bunny. He just doesn't quit in this movie. I thought Eve Hewson, who I've become a big fan of, I loved her on the that Sisters show that was on Apple TV. Sorry, Bad Sisters. That's it. And she's been in a few other things. It's hard to. And that, what was it? The Perfect Couple, I think she was in also. Yeah, I sit there. I'm like, I can't believe that's Bono's daughter. Also, Wyatt Russell. Speaking of us, Next Generation, he doesn't have a lot to do in this movie. He does figure into some parts of the plot, but not a whole lot. But he does fine in the role. But like I said, Emily Blunt is great. I mean, she is one of my favorite actresses working today. I see her in something, I'm like, oh yeah, I want to see that movie. So yeah, I didn't go into much because I don't want to spoil it for people that may listen to this, because I wouldn't want this movie to have been spoiled for me. You want to see it unfold before you. Okay. So all in all, I liked it. I didn't love it. I liked it. All right. So here we go. We're going to go into spoilers now. Here's your warning. Final chance. 3, 2, 1. All right. So it was somewhat ambiguous, this movie. Trying to figure out and put everything together was a bit at times, trying to understand things. Look, I love the guy too, but I thought I felt like not a lot was happening at times, and I felt they could have used a little more exposition early in the movie. The bulk of the exposition in this movie comes at the end, and when you're so the whole time you're sitting there trying to figure out what exactly is happening, what is going on, you were even my girlfriend was like, they were on the brink of war, so that wasn't as fleshed out that we were on the brink of World War III with North Korea. So we were trying to figure that out a little bit. I don't know. He is always an impressive filmmaker. But it feels like an elongated story. There's no real conclusion at the end, and the dialogue and humor are so awful at times when there's too much of each. There's a lack of restraint with how it unfolds. It exacerbates many small issues that will leave some viewers with regret. I mean, that's kind of the meat of it, trying to understand what exactly their powers were between Margaret and Daniel, which was Emily Blunt and Joshua O'Connor's characters. What Colman Domingo was actually doing the whole time. Why they had to hold the alien object with gloves and the animals, trying to explain all that. It was just kind of the powers getting awakened. Yes, they were at different times. They were kids. They were abducted. They were experimented on. That they were given these powers. But to me, it was is it to make empathy? I mean, there were some things that were really accurate. The control room stuff, that was really accurate. Somebody who's been in control rooms. I think it would take a lot for all these networks and nations to be aligned in a broadcast. Although my girlfriend is a nurse, noted several times that things were incorrect on between PIC lines and IVs and things like that. She said that was taking her out because, the attention to detail in most of this movie was incredible, but how could they not do that correctly? So, and then at the end where it just ends with her, just saying the one word, listen, is the movie really just about having empathy and for each other and how quickly, I guess, also her powers aren't explained as well, because these people fall in line very quickly with her, and it seems kind of weird to me. I don't know. I don't know what you could show me to make me fall in line. I don't know what that would be. But teach their own. And I don't know. I think it's a good movie. I think they didn't land the plane like I hoped they would have. And and it would be near the bottom of if I had to rank Spielberg films, it's near the bottom. I'm sorry. It was a good summer movie. I enjoyed the theater experience, but I'm probably not going to seek it out again to rewatch it. So yeah, there you go. So that brings an end to this one. I know I'm a little all over the place with this one because I'm also kind of still processing it. I mean, I'm less than 24 hours removed from seeing it as I'm recording this. And it's also it's hard to talk about with people because you got to make sure they've seen it. So if you're listening to this now, I hope you've seen it. I didn't spoil it. If I spoiled it for you, I'm sorry. You should still see it anyway, though, because support the movies. That's what I always say. Support the movies. A lot of people working hard, and you want to support them. All right, cool. All right, so we got a few more movies coming at you, reviews coming at you this week. Don't forget to check out everything else we got going on here on the PlayStation Pop Experience. We have the video jukebox song of the day going right now. We are in the midst of a theme week, if you will, and that is songs with an animal in the title. Yeah, sometimes I get a little weird with the themes we come up with, but they're all in good fun. All right, I hope you guys are having a great week so far, and we will talk to you later.